Do you guys still use chalkboards a lot in the US?
It depends. So this is just scratch work from when I was doing my PhD that I was working with my advisor on. And I mean, I always preferred chalkboards because, especially if you have Hagoromo chalk, it's just so nice. But as far as I'm concerned, a lot of rooms, probably most rooms, have whiteboards.
Okay.
Isn't there that one chalk that's made in some old traditional way in Japan that people are like scrambling to get their hands on? This
Yeah, you mean this?
very
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, I have a whole box. My wife got me some, however many years ago.
Oh.
I knew there was a thing, and he's got the thing.
Yep, it's the thing.
Amazing. Well, this is very fitting. I mean, like you make well, I don't want to say career because your career is being a real physicist, but you make a side hustle career of like being that physicist, like answering questions, and I feel like there's no better like street cred to have as a physicist, as a hardcore like theoretical physicist, than that chalk.
Oh yeah, I mean I think my wife got it for me. I think when I turned like 26 or something when I was in grad school, and the box of chalk has, I don't know, like 100 or 144 sticks, so it's lasted me this whole time. I'm finally starting to run out. I probably have like 20 left, and I don't own a chalkboard anymore.
Are you like actively using it, or you like break it up?
Well, I just don't own a chalkboard at this point. So I haven't used any in a few years because where I was doing my postdoc, they used whiteboards everywhere there, and then I moved back to the States, and I don't own a chalkboard. But I'm holding out hope. Sometime in the near future, I will have a chalkboard.
There is chalkboard paint you can buy. You can make any surface a chalkboard.
There is, but that feels very permanent.
Yeah.
It's also not the same. We did that once. We had like a vegetable patch that we were growing, and we painted the front. Like it was a vegetable thing that I made out of like old wooden crates and stuff. So I painted the old wooden crates with that chalkboard paint so I could write what was in it. And it's just not the same. It's like a proper academic chalkboard that people have like
made of slate,
and people have spent years banging their head against, which helps smooth it out. And
there you go.
As well of grad students, it's all part of the experience. Yeah.
It's a good experience in retrospect.
It builds character.
Yeah.
It gives you a little tactile connection to all the work and struggles that you've been studying.
Speaking of good experience, I'm thrilled for the good experience that we're about to have this week on Science Actually Presents the Nerd and the Scientist, or I should say, the nerds and the scientists.
Right.
This week.
Right.
Because we are fortunate to have the one and the only Dr. Blitz joining us.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Sorry for being a few minutes late.
No worries. I do a lot of research on all the guests and try to get some, questions ready to ask them. And every single time I do.
I thought you were going to say you did a lot of research and figured out I would be late.
No, this is going to go in a much different direction, but a fun one. Everything I looked up about Dr. Blitz, and I love all of the stuff you do on TikTok, YouTube, and everything. That's how I found out about you, and I've been a fan for a while. But every time I do a search about, who is this Dr. Blitz? What does he do? The first thing that comes up in every bit of feedback from any search engine was he's a lefty and a Trekkie.
Yep.
So the question I have to ask, it's a standard Trekkie question. Let's just go. Kirk or Picard?
Cisco. No, the answer is Cisco.
Oh, Benjamin Cisco. Yeah!
Sorry, that's just the right answer.
Benjamin, I think we might need to replace you as the co-host.
No, we don't, because he just said Benjamin as the answer. So I'm staying.
And it still counts, even though he wasn't a captain until season 4, season 5.
I didn't really watch too much of that series. I mean,
I
watched
you should.
it.
It's the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'd say that because he picked Benjamin Cisco. So yeah, you'd say
that. And it's not. You know what? It's not even that. Like the story is. I mean, look, I'm rewatching TNG right now. It's lovely. There's some like amazing episodes. Probably some of the best episodes of Trek are in TNG. However, just the overall characters are just so much more likable and interesting and deep in DS. I mean, like Garrick is in like what 7 episodes, and he's all anybody can ever talk about.
Yeah. I guess the way that I think about it is that what's beautiful about TNG is that like the story, the setting doesn't matter. It's kind of like the moral arc of each episode and the moral of the story there, right? Whereas I guess what's true about DS9 is just the overall narrative arc for each of the characters, even some of the more minor ones, is just so like it's just good writing, you know, writing.
Yeah, I mean
well.
They
weren't kind of stuck in
constrained by
place.
Roddenberry, right?
Yeah. Damn. Okay.
Oh.
I feel like that was a great way to start the episode, but there's like that was the peak. That was the best answer we could have gotten to any question, and there's no way to go that down from here.
Let's just call it. Let's just call it.
Clip it and put it at the end.
Good.
We do have that.
We can rebuild him.
We can rebuild him, but stronger,
faster,
and in a better order. So I'm curious. Were you always into sci-fi? Were you always consider yourself a Trekkie, or is this something that you adopted later in life?
So, I mean, I have to say that probably my favorite books of all time, and I first read them when I was like 11 or 10 or something. This was like the Ender's Shadow, Ender's Game series by Orson Scott Card. And so, you know, that's sci-fi, right? Like that's arguably hard sci-fi even. You know, like it's definitely harder than like soft sci-fi. So in some sense, you could say I was always interested in sci-fi and like that kind of thing. And I always liked kind of like, you know, the normal sci-fi movies, but I never actually watched any Star Trek until the summer before I turned 19, just because I always viewed it as like an old show that, you know, when you watch old things, it can seem very dated and it doesn't just doesn't track with the way that we view things today. But I was very, very bored one summer. I had a lot of free time on my hands. And so I'm like, you know what? And I didn't know anybody at the place that I was. So I said, you know what? I have a Netflix account. I have like 5 hours every night of time to kill. I may as well just increase my nerd cred and watch Star Trek. So I did. I watched like all of TNG in like a month and a half. And you know what? This is just my identity now.
It's similar to me. Series. It's a great series. I only got into it later in life, and I feel like I wasted so many years when I was younger, like thinking that Star Wars was better.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's the downside, right? Like I'm just old enough that I could have grown up watching Voyager, and that would have been amazing, right? But I just didn't even know that this was an option.
Sad.
I remember when the very first episode of TNG Next Generation, for those who don't know, when TNG came on, I was in high school, and I was home from school, and I flipped on the TV, and just seeing what's on. I had no idea what was coming. I had no idea, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing some weird commercial for some fancy-looking spaceship that kind of looks like the Enterprise. And then I realized it's not a commercial. This is a show that's starting right now. And this is a brand new Star Trek. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I actually broke out, the TV guide. And I flipped to see what was on at that moment. And TV guide, by the way, everybody, is a book that tells you what's on the TV. And there it was, season 1, episode 1. I couldn't believe I'm watching a brand new Star Trek. And I was so excited because I had absorbed all the originals multiple times on reruns. Reruns, by the way, people, is when, you know, your local TV station decides what's streaming. And then I was so excited, and it was great. And that hooked me right back in, that first episode that I didn't even know was coming.
And providing a lot of good context.
The first episode, Encounter at Farpoint, it's not even that good by comparison, right?
I know. But it was a good soft intro. It was a good soft intro into a whole new pajama-wearing version of Star Trek that's even more in the future than the future of the Star Trek. It was great. It's very, 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 very happy.
I feel like some of our listeners are probably a little bit confused. Like, what do you mean something was playing when you turn the TV on? You have to choose what to watch.
Yeah. You have to choose which company is going to tell you what to watch.
Oh my god.
It's so upsetting.
It is. But at least we get to see cool content like this at press of a button. So that's cool.
Anyway, moving forward.
Yeah.
Is it Star Trek or sci-fi books what got you into science and that made you decide you're going to pursue a career in science? Or
Actually, not at all.
not at all?
Just not at all.
Just watching the
I
clouds
don't.
go by, and I wondered why the clouds go this way.
So I don't actually know what caused it at the very beginning, but my mom has a photo of me from when I was like 4, of me playing with like a plastic toy science set. It's like a molded plastic microscope. There's no lens. It's just like a solid brick of plastic. Like a bunch of molded plastic test tubes, and then I'm sitting there wearing fake glasses, no lenses in there, but that's just what scientists wear, right? And Batman pajamas because I was 4. And so apparently, even when I was 4, I was interested in science, but I was probably like 8 or 9 or something when I figured out that, or I heard about black holes. I guess this is right around when Google started to exist. And I guess, like, I don't remember exactly the context, but I was just Googling around on Google Images with a friend. We stumbled on a picture, like one of these, like CGI generated pictures of black holes that you see everywhere. And I'm like, that's the coolest thing in the world. I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. And it turns out I don't like change.
You made a decision at a young age. I'm going to do black holes. That's it.
Yeah, that was it.
I've been black holing it the whole time. That's a horrible verb I made. Never mind.
I remember in undergrad, one of the advisors I had for like first year lab kept trying to convince me, because like I went in similar to you. I was like, I'm doing a physics degree because I want to do astrophysics. Like that's the only reason I'm here. And he kept trying to convince me. He's like, oh, but what about quantum? You never know, because he was in quantum optics. And people along the way kept trying to convince me to do other things. Did that happen to you? Did you like?
So in undergrad, they didn't. So I don't know how it is across. It's not even a pond, right? Like it's just really, really far. But so at least where I did undergrad, there wasn't really any requirement for like a focus. So I did my undergrad in mathematics and in physics. So I did a double bachelor's. And I guess there was a separate astrophysics program, but nobody in the physics program was really telling me that I have to do, or that I should try doing some other kind of thing. I should be interested in some other thing. That said, I did work in a medium energy particle physics lab as an undergrad. And then I applied strictly for cosmology and black hole physics for grad school. So the research experience was unrelated, but
I've never heard that. Like I always hear things either in astrophysics or in particle physics referred to as high energy. I've never heard of medium energy.
Well, that's roughly what. So there's low energy particle physics, right? This is like arguably this is like condensed matter physics, and then there's high energy particle physics, and then there's stuff that's like, like a few hundred MeV, and that's not considered high energy anymore.
Mega electron volt.
Yeah, that.
Thank you.
Benjamin was making some faces.
See, the show's called The Nerd and the Scientist. I'm strictly the nerd, and I just have a ridiculous, love for science. I'm a big fanboy for science, but I studied design and cinema and art, and I should not have.
So for reference, the particle physics that I was working on as an undergrad, these particles would have energy that's a few thousand times weaker than what you would see at the Large Hadron Collider. And so it was just, I guess they just called it that. Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, Benjamin.
I love hearing the journey that scientists are taking, kind of how they decided to choose science, and then the route through the studying of different sciences to get where they are. There's no straight route. There's no direct line, except unless when you're little and you saw a picture of a black hole and decided that's it. So there's one
But
guy.
it all asymptotes to like just doing really cool stuff at the end of the day.
Unless you do condensed matter, then it's lame.
Is condensed matter the new like string theory, or is like the new whipping boy?
Oh, well, I just have a bone to pick with condensed matter because they get all the funding, and you know, because people actually care about what they do, because you know they have ties to reality. And you know, they have like cool labs and cool equipment, and they also win most of the Nobel Prizes. So
yeah, I had this situation last night at dinner with friends where there was like a vet who works on animal safety for, you know, fish that we eat, that humans eat, a social worker who like deals with human beings on a day-to-day basis, making their lives better, and a plant ecologist working on climate change. And then me and the other astrophysicists, they're like, oh, well, yeah, we're doing stuff too. Has no bearing
you know,
on the real world.
stars, they affect how you're born or something.
Yeah.
We weren't the most popular people at the table, sadly. I mentioned asymptoting a moment ago in terms of where you ended up, or where we all end up doing cool things. So I was trying to wrap my head around the work that you do on Kerr de Sitter space. I don't know if this was like, no pun intended, like black box that you wanted to open up, but I am so fascinated by like people who are able to mentally live in different like space-time metrics, because they're so hard to conceptualize. Maybe like in a nutshell, can you explain for Benjamin and for other listeners
Definitely
who aren't familiar with general relativity, like what is Kerr de Sitter space, what is a metric, and how this all relates to black holes?
Yeah, so first you have to start with de Sitter space. De Sitter space is seemingly what our universe is like. It's roughly expanding, and it's expanding at the same rate everywhere. So it's something like our universe. Mm-hmm. So what you'll often hear people do is they take de Sitter and then they just put more adjectives in front of it to say, okay, you have the normal kind of expanding universe, and then you put stuff in the universe, right? So this is a description of a kind of space-time, right? You hear about curved space-time. Now you can have empty curved space-times. De Sitter is an example. It's sort of empty in that way. Even though it has this expanding property, it's just kind of a feature of the space-time. Then if you put stuff in it, now it becomes not empty anymore. And when you put Kerr in front of de Sitter, Kerr is the name of a physicist during the golden age of general relativity. He was the first person to come up with a solution to the general relativity equations that describes a rotating black hole. And so a Kerr de Sitter spacetime would just be a de Sitter spacetime where you threw in a rotating black hole. And the thing is, our universe looks like it's de Sitter, it's expanding in all these directions, and also there are rotating black holes. So Kerr de Sitter spacetimes, at least to an extent, are kind of what we expect how we expect black holes to actually behave in the actual world. So if you wanted to study how actual black holes exist, like how they behave, Kerr de Sitter is probably the nicest way that you can start studying real black holes, or things that are close to real black holes, just because the geometries are close. Contrast this with like a non-rotating black hole in a so-called Minkowski universe or a flat universe, or that would be a universe that's not expanding. Our universe is, and most black holes rotate. So a non-rotating black hole wouldn't be something that's really super physical. So we were looking at something that's fairly physically relevant.
Okay, so you've got the two sides. Yeah,
some black holes don't rotate. I kind of under the impression
probably
that
almost probably almost every single one rotates. I mean, you would need like perfect conditions for it to not be rotating, but like it's in principle possible, I guess.
Okay.
I would assume that there are like historical reasons for why prior to Kerr, like it was just a toy model, like it was more simple to solve the equations without including spin, and that's why it was.
I mean, it's 50 years, right?
Yeah.
There's like a 50-year time gap between solving the equation without spin and solving it with spin.
Yeah. Now make it more realistic. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you have the two different parts of it. It's basically the fact that you have a more realistic space-time and you have more realistic black holes in that space-time, and you just kind of put them together.
And these are really well studied. Like there is an exact solution here. This isn't something that's super complicated. I don't know when the exact solution was written down, but probably like in the 70s or something like this. But it turns out the stuff that I did my thesis on really naturally fits in to kind of study what happens to those things that are not quite Kerr de Sitter. So these are black holes that are not quite like the black holes that we would see in our universe, but are close to them. So like this mathematical machinery that I developed is just a nice fit to study that kind of thing. So it worked out.
And now, Benjamin, you understand black holes.
I got it perfectly.
Entirely.
Entirely. I understand every single bit about it. Exactly. I've known about de Sitter black holes for like a day now, which is more than I would think most people.
Like 99% of people, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm at the top.
You're good.
I'm at top of my game. I'm just I still have no idea. I just think that they're beautiful.
I think general relativity was probably one of the like graduate level courses I was most afraid of, and then once I got to it, the professor who was teaching it just made it so accessible, and like just understanding the machinery of like, this is a metric, this is what you do with it, this is how you get your Christoffel symbols, like, and just kind of making it mechanistic, and then understanding like once the numbers look less scary, the intuition does come.
Numbers.
Numbers. Oh, okay. Sorry, it's gonna be a little bit of a left turn, but Benjamin and I were just watching prior to this your recent encounter with a flirter.
Flirts, yeah, love them.
Obsessed with numbers.
I did not know that the term flirter was there.
No, it's not flirter. It's flurf with an F at the end.
Oh,
it's flurf.
Yeah, it's just flurf.
I
didn't coin it. That's just what it's called.
I like flirter.
Also, it gets around YouTube censorship stuff, so that's nice too.
Flurf. Oh.
Okay.
Anyway,
well, yeah.
Go on, Kovi.
I don't want to get us censored now, but
we're not going to get censored.
All 6 of our YouTube watchers. This guy who was trying to convince you that the shape of the Earth was not spheroidal was just going off on every conspiracy except actually talking about the shape of the Earth. And I love how it was probably the fastest I'd ever seen somebody not just hoist themselves on their own petard, but draw a direct line between being a conspiracy theorist and being just a raging anti-Semite.
Oh yeah, it's real bad. Like so I got my start on TikTok debating flat earthers. Like that's how I started. That's why I created a TikTok account, actually.
And that's how you got me as a fan. It's just.
But I'm glad.
By the way, your patience is like next level.
You know where that comes from? It comes from trying to teach undergrad engineering majors. Like when you have 170 kids who think that they were the smartest kids who ever graced God's earth. See what I did there? Anyway, 170 of these kids.
We made the same jokes off the side.
170 of these kids, right? They're all brilliant. They all think that they're brilliant. They were all the big fish in the little ponds at their high schools or whatever. Then they come to university at a top 30 university or whatever, and they're like, I'm going to do so well. I'm so smart, and then most of them end up with B's and C's. Like there's a lot of patience that you have to develop for that.
So you took these useful skills and then said, I'm going to fight every idiot on the internet.
Well, that wasn't the initial goal, but that's what it's become.
Oh, God.
It is important. Like, yeah, we joke, but it's kind of important because if, the response to shitty ideas like, you know, flat Earth is not let's ban flat Earth. It's like let's expose how bad they are through conversation, through dialogue, through debate,
Right.
and through reasonable discussion. And so it is super important work to do. I think just most of us lack, you know, people. It's rare that people have both of the knowledge necessary as well as the patience to do so.
Well, so look, so I actually get a sizable, I wouldn't say it's a lot, but a sizable amount of pushback saying like, why are you debating these people? Why are you platforming them, showcasing their ideas? And my general view is that if we lived 20 years ago, most of these people would just be shouting on street corners wearing tinfoil hats and nobody would ever care. They would never find each other. They would never like be able to amplify their own voices.
Right.
But the world that we live in today is a world where if you don't tell them that they're dumb and show other people that they're dumb, they will just form echo chambers. And the scariest thing, the scariest proof of this is if you go find, like, there are a few big flat earthers on TikTok. If you just go find them, they will be live streaming for 8 hours a day in a flat earth live stream with 8 other flat earthers. And then you'll have, you know, one person who's like, but I think the earth is round, join up. And they're not well educated on it. And they'll come in, be berated by 9 people who know all of the talking points, who know all of the things to make, you know, people who think that the earth is a globe sound dumb. And if you don't actually know what you're talking about, then you can get trapped there. And that serves as a mechanism to draw more people towards the view. And so unless you have something that counteracts that, like in the United States, like 10% of the people think that the earth is flat.
Oh, God.
Now, those people were distributed pretty widely. They're not concentrated in cities where you have flat earth societies. This was never a thing. And so without the internet, without these echo chambers, these people just don't really spread. It kind of just happens. It would kind of just happen really, really slowly. You would have like one flat earther and then they might stumble upon something on Google, but that's just not the case anymore. So I don't know. That's how I tell myself that I'm doing something useful for society.
I think so. I think it's a win that there's you have so many live streams that you do where you just take on all comers. Any question, you just sit there and you just respond and you debunk so nicely, and I love it. I think it's entertaining and funny as hell. And
well, there's that too. It is also good comedy.
It's very good comedy. And the funny thing is, they don't realize they're the ones bringing the comedy.
Yep.
But I mean, what's a good thing? I was gonna say I had a thought and I lost my thought. Oh, all right. Back up. Am I allowed to slap a flat earther? Can I sit gas that one until I regain my thought?
Are you allowed to slap a flat earther?
I think it'd be great.
I mean, like,
slap them around.
No one's gonna stop you. I mean, they might stop you.
Yeah.
But like, you'd probably get charged with battery.
Dang. All right. I'll just keep it an internal thought then.
Some thoughts are better kept that way.
Yeah.
But so there was talk of like the beeline straight to like Nazi stuff, and like I said, I've spoken with probably 1,000+ flat earthers in the last 3 years at this point. Like, it's a lot. And the number of them who are either sympathetic to like outspoken Nazis or are themselves like raging like anti-Semites or whatever is, I don't know, if I had to estimate, like 90%. So it's definitely not all. And I know there are some people that I'm like actually quite friendly with who are flat earthers, and they're like actually pretty left-leaning. They're just very, very skeptical of a lot of things. I think that they're still delusional, but like whatever, like we can still be friendly. But they're very, very few and far between, which is, you know, if you've ever looked at this, there's like this famous conspiracy theory chart that somebody made, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, where it's like, there's like the bottom tier conspiracies where it's like, you know, MK Ultra. And it's like, okay, like that was a real thing that happened, actually. Like, these are real conspiracies. And then as you go up the pyramid, you know, you get more and more absurd and far-fetched conspiracies. So you have like, you know, moon landing denying is like the next step up or something like that. And at the top, it's always the Jews, right? Like that is the very top of the pyramid. All of the conspiracies eventually lead there. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why that's the case. It just happens to be the case.
It's Yeah, there was. I don't know if you know the YouTuber ContraPoints, Natalie Wynn.
I do.
So she had a video on conspiracies, like a behemoth, like 2-hour video recently.
Oh yeah, they're always works of art, entire theatrical productions.
Absolutely, yeah. Production values are off the charts. Natalie, if you're listening to this, you're an incredible human being. But she showed one of these charts, and it wasn't just like, you know, the X-tiered pyramid. It was like a skyscraper kind of chart showing all of the connections of all of these things. And at multiple points, it reconnects to things that are related to, you know, like either Jewish themes or biblical themes. And I feel like there's something there that I don't quite understand, that there's like the when you reach the bottom of the barrel, when you're scraping for things that make you feel like you know something that other people don't, people tend to grasp at familiar yet mysterious things. And I think familiar yet mysterious has always kind of tended to be in that realm of like Old Testament-y sort of stuff. That's the only thing that seems reasonable to me.
I mean, so there is, like, this is something that's pretty well studied. There is a non-trivial correlation between religious thinking and susceptibility to religious or to conspiracy theories. And I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why that's the case. You could speculate that it's like, you know, if you're more susceptible to, you know, buying into religious things, then perhaps that means that you're more susceptible to think that, you know, people are bad, and that's why and there's a divine good. And if you think that people are bad, then maybe it makes sense that there'd be like big cabals and organization and governments and stuff would be evil. I don't know, but there is certainly that correlation. It's definitely there.
It's just too funny. With the conspiracy folk, the part that baffles me is this blind belief in this incredible construct of people organizing that would have to be in existence for their conspiracy to be true. Like with the moon landing, in order for that to be a conspiracy, every single citizen of the only 2 superpowers on the planet would had to agree to let the United States, you know, be the winner in this fake race, and they would have had to put every resource each country had into simulating that thing, and then swear an unbreakable promise to never let slip that they were lying to each other.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
entire
like
planet. It's impossible for that to have happened.
It's like, and the flat Earth is even harder because this is something that spans 2,000 years, right? You would need a conspiracy that lasts unbroken for 2,000 years, and in fact, it's been studied. Like this, you know, real conspiracies do exist, right? Like COINTELPRO was a real conspiracy. Like that was a real government conspiracy to do a lot of bad things. And so you can actually study the correlation between how long it takes for a conspiracy to actually leak, for you know, the story to be broken, if you will, and how big the conspiracy is. And the study, the analysis, if I remember correctly, if the moon landing, and they were doing like conservative estimates, like you would need like 10,000 or 40,000 people in on the Apollo program at the top who were in on the conspiracy. They were like, oh yeah, so if this was a real conspiracy, it would have leaked in like 4 seconds. Like you get, I mean, like it's probably not a linear relationship like that, but the point is that like this, they couldn't have kept the secret for decades, right? And the Earth being a sphere, that would involve hundreds of thousands of people over thousands of years. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I've seen that, the paper that you're referring to, and it basically like it asymptotes to zero. Like the more people involved, the faster the secret will have to leak. So yeah, all absurd. And also the idea of like getting more than 2 scientists to agree on anything is just kind of weird. Like,
yeah, I mean, reviewer 2 is just an asshole. Like, am I allowed to swear, by the way?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, reviewer 2 will never agree with you on anything. That's just a general rule. That's
their job. Oh, man. I can already feel like we're going to need a whole separate part 2 where we dive deeper into into all of this. But
Heck yeah.
Apologies
No.
for sharing that.
Heck no.
timing is weird.
We love Star Cruise.
I feel like we need to jump into our rapid fire round soon. Benjamin, was there any last burning question that you wanted to get to before we jump into the rapid fire?
Sure, I'll keep one. I'll keep it relevant to a recent video you made. It was a what if. I'm going to get it wrong. Black hole ton 6 something 618.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes. If it was as close to us as Proxima Centauri, how would it look in the night sky? Huh?
That was this morning. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is one today, right?
You said recent. Yeah.
That's true. That is very recent.
I know. I was watching it this morning, so I always watch. Anyway, well, I do other things, but I happened to watch. Anyway, if it was as close to us as Proxima Centauri, and you mentioned that if it was a what was the word? I have my notes. Where's my note? If it was if it was not an active black hole, if it was a dormant black hole, it would probably just be there and not bother us much at all. But if it was an active black hole, it could be, well, we couldn't live here anymore. I was going to ask, Proxima Centauri is like 4 light years away. How could an active black hole, even as big as ton 618, make it inhabitable here? Isn't that?
Oh yeah. So if I remember correctly, and these were all order of magnitude estimates, of course, but if I remember correctly, ton 618 it's billions of light years away. So we're observing it when it was an active black hole, and it's estimated to be like 160 billion times as bright as the sun.
Right.
And so all you have to do is use the inverse square law. So
yeah.
I think it's like I think 4 light years is like 60 million times further away than the sun is. And but if you have something that's 140 billion times further away, maybe 140 billion times brighter, maybe it was 140 trillion times, I don't remember what the number is. Anyway, you can just work out the ratio and you'll find that it will appear in the sky 2,000 times brighter than the sun would be. And so even though it's 4 light years away, which is very far, it's really bright, like absurdly bright.
Yeah.
And so you find that it's a few thousand times as bright as the sun, and so Earth would get about a few thousand times as much energy from it. A lot of it would be gamma rays too, so that's definitely not pleasant. But that wouldn't even be the major issue. The Earth's surface would just melt.
Oh, gross! That's awesome.
Hate when that happens.
Awesome, but yeah, awesome. So
it's bad.
A dormant black hole is basically just a black hole that's far enough away from other mass. It's not eating it up at the moment.
Basically, yeah. I mean, in principle, like a lot of black holes exist. We just can't see them because they're dormant, like regular stellar mass black holes. Because there's not really a good way to see them unless you happen to see some gravitational lensing from them, like a star passing behind them or something. It's really hard to detect.
Right. It's
Okay.
either like lensing effects and Hawking Bekenstein radiation.
There's
like
no hope of seeing that.
Right. But theoretically, I'm saying like the only observable effects are either gravitational effects and Hawking radiation. Otherwise, there's no other like electromagnetic counterpart unless it's, a tidal disruption event or actively accreting or something crazy like that. Yeah.
Right.
There you go. Question asked, question answered.
Yeah. Wow. Love it. I want to do a lot more of those questions in the part 2. Dr. Blitz, if you will agree to come back for a part 2.
Yeah, of course.
Hot dog.
Let's see if we can do all 11 questions of our rapid fire round in less than 10 minutes.
A nice prime number of questions. That's why we
Sounds
chose. That's why we chose 11.
All right.
Start us off, Kovi. Go ahead.
What is the weirdest thing you believed as a kid?
I've never thought about that question. Weirdest thing I believed as a kid? I don't know. I don't have a lot of good memories from when I was like a lot of intact memories from when I was a kid. Probably that I believed I would get 2 PhDs and win a Nobel Prize. Like, that's probably pretty weird.
No, that's awesome. I have a nephew. Same thing. All right. All right. Which teacher had the biggest positive impact on you?
My calculus teacher, sophomore, junior, and senior years of high school. I was at a very, very small high school, and there was no one else in the class because the only time I had for math was when nobody else was taking it, because the years that I was in and the classes that I was taking. So it was just me and this teacher for 3 years, and she basically gave me a leg up as an undergrad. So my calculus was very, very strong, and so I came into undergrad with no issues with math, and I could just dive into the physics, if you will.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
I'm actually quite jealous of that. So if there was one scientific discovery that you could have witnessed in person, what would it have been?
Oh, that's hard, but maybe just because it's so relevant to what I do now, the observed gravitational deflection of the star in 1919 by Arthur Eddington. This is what confirmed general relativity as correct, confirmed Einstein's prediction.
Nice. If you had to pick one historical scientist to go bowling with, who would it be?
There's so many bad taste answers. Probably Feynman would be the most fun to hang out with.
Yeah, he would.
But all things considered, it would probably have to be Einstein, just because I feel like it would be the most useful. It would be the most useful of my time, right? Like, it would just be a good time with Feynman, but I would get a lot out of chatting with Einstein, I imagine. So
Feynman can play the bongos while you and Einstein bowl. Perfect.
All right, this is kind of like the more serious section of the questions and quibbles. If you were a sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you be?
It would have 2 layers of turkey, mesquite smoked turkey, 1 layer of any large salami slice, and then 1 layer of a spicy salami of your choosing, and then a slice of fairly thick Swiss cheese, on essentially any kind of fairly refined but not pure white bread. I eat that sandwich for lunch every day.
Yeah.
So precise. That is so precise. He found the sandwich he likes. That's it.
Love it.
I used to work with a friend of mine at a weather company, and he's one of the meteorologists there, and he had a specific burrito that he liked, and that was it.
I also have that.
That's what he ate.
But I just don't get it. I just don't get the burrito all the time because Chipotle is expensive these days.
I'll talk about Chipotle another time. I have opinions. What is your most controversial opinion about pizza?
That if you like pineapple on pizza, this is not controversial, but if you like pineapple on pizza, then we can't be friends.
Kovi. Swallow that one, buddy.
Is it that controversial? I mean, like, look, there's people who don't like pineapple on pizza, and then there's bad people.
Wow.
I kid, of course.
I have to say, it's not just me. I feel like half of our guests have split perfectly into the 2 categories of love and sheer disdain. There's no middle.
There's got to be an overlap.
I feel like if you like pineapple
pizza Venn diagram out there somewhere.
I feel like if you like pineapple on pizza, then you put your toilet paper on backwards. I feel like that's the same kind of person.
No comment.
Like the toilet paper roll, the patent for the toilet paper roll clearly shows that the next sheet comes over the front of the roll.
Yeah, of course.
However, in practice, it's more efficient if it comes from the back. You can give it a yank, and the force that you pull helps tear it at the perforation. If it's a heavy enough roll, it just won't spin. The roll itself, the mass of the roll, will hold it in place so you can pull it and it works. In practice.
You can do that when it comes over the top, right? You can still do that. You just have to know what you're doing. B, we have 2 hands.
What do you mean? What are you going to do with your phone? Questions we can
man.
solve in the next episode.
I'm
What
imagining
is
toilet paper thing to the next series of questions. Okay.
nice? What is your favorite scientific word or phrase?
This is a new one. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's called Steve.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So
The-
it's
in
the
meteorological, right?
strong thermal emission velocity enhancement or something, some silly backronym. But it was named for the hedge in the animated film Over the Hedge. And I just love that that's what it's called. That like some amateur astronomer or amateur atmospheric whatever's decided to name some atmospheric phenomenon Steve. I just think that that's fun.
That's fun.
Nice. Much better than Red Sprite.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go the other way. What is your least favorite scientific word or phrase?
Does mathematics count?
Sure.
It's normal. So the word normal is has like 150 definitions in mathematics, and they all mean different things, and none of them are related. And the only way that you can know what somebody means is if you're already like immersed in their field when they're writing a paper or whatever. There'll be like normal coordinates, and there'll be like normal subgroups, and there'll be normal algebras, and like just normal everything's normal, and none of them are related to each other. It's just horribly abused.
I love that so much.
That's great. What is your favorite useless science fact?
Useless. All of the science facts I know are useless. Useless science fact.
That's fine.
Yeah, my favorite though. That's just asking me what my favorite science fact is. Yeah, so my favorite useless science fact is that for rotating black holes, they can sometimes act gravitationally in a repulsive way. If you drop a spinning thing onto the axis of a spinning black hole, as long as the spins align in the right way, the spinning thing can bounce off, which is very weird
Really?
and very cool. Yeah.
That is freaking amazing. I don't know the science behind it or the math behind it. I just like to know that fact now, and I
Yeah,
love
it's a
that.
neat fact, right? It's useless. You're never going to use it. It's really neat, though.
I'm going to use it if I find myself falling into the spinning part of a black hole. I just start spinning myself. I'm going to save myself. Bam. Using
You
that
just have to
as
know
a-
which way to spin yourself, because it depends. I don't remember which way it is, and I'd have to go check. So you might end up falling in faster.
Dang it. All right. Well, I'll find out one way. If you could rename one planet in our solar system, what would you call it?
Bodie McBoatface? Maybe Planet McPlanetface?
I love that. I've been waiting for someone to say Planet Face. I've honestly been waiting for that.
It seems like the obvious answer.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, but which one?
Fraser, sure.
Oh, which one? Oh, Earth.
Oh, perfect.
Oh man. All right. For all the marbles, if you had to sing one karaoke song to save humanity from an alien invasion, what would it be?
So, it might be "Hurt" by Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Wow.
If only because it's a really good meme song. It's really sad. Like, it's actually a really sad and really deep song. But for some reason, so I have a group of friends that I do karaoke with, every 6 months or something like that. And for some reason, that's the good meme song. Also, we did this recently, and I was getting over a cold, so I had lost my voice. So I could only sing in a much deeper register than I usually do. And so, what is it? It's a Wonderful World or whatever by Louis Armstrong. That's also very funny. A very funny song to do. And look, if I screw it up and the Earth gets destroyed because of it, I think the laughs are worth it.
Yeah.
And "Hurt" is an apt song to be playing or being sung.
Yeah, right.
While the Earth is being destroyed. Nice.
Yeah.
This was amazing. We absolutely need to have you on for a part 2.
Okay,
please.
Yes, amazing. Where can people find you on the interwebs if they want to follow you?
Yeah, so probably the place where you'll get the most content is on TikTok. That's just because that's I have a dopamine addiction, I guess. So I post videos there. The handle is @BlitzPhD. No spaces, no capitals, anything. if you don't like that app because there's good reason to not like that app, then you can find me on YouTube. I have 2 channels. One is at Blitz PhD. It's the main channel where most of my science content goes. It's also where I live stream vertical. However, if you want to see, this is a new thing, if you want to see more debunking style content, if you want to see clips from the debates, if you want to watch in the horizontal format, go to at Dr. Blitz Debunks, no spaces, and that you will find the new channel. Also Instagram, again, at Blitz PhD, you'll find me there. In principle, I have a Twitch account, but I don't do anything with it. So yeah, those are the places.
Right on. How about you, Kovi?
You can find me at Fun Fact Science on all the good social media platforms as well as the bad ones. What about you, Benjamin?
Science Actually. That's it. And if you want to see more or hear more of this podcast, look for The Nerd and the Scientist. We're the ones with the giant rubber duck with the Saturn's rings going around it. That's us. See, find us on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, and everywhere else. But Science Actually is me. Nerd and Scientist is us. This has been Dr. Blitz. Thank you so much for being on our show. This was fantastic.
Seriously.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Also, we're all wearing glasses. Just saying.
We are.
Black t-shirts. Yes.
And black t-shirts. We got the memo.
Well,
Nice.
and which of you are wearing jeans?
Wearing what?
Just shorts today.
Jeans.
Summertime.
I'm wearing an old pair of khaki pants with the back pockets tearing off. Sorry.
Okay, then good thing we can only see.
Nice.
And we all have
3/4 or
microphones.
quarter and up.
Which is also
Yeah.
awesome. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this coordination.
It's like it was
Great minds
planned.
think alike.
We should coordinate just as well for the next episode.
Well, I'm going to be
That's
wearing
it.
glasses
I'm writing
regardless.
I'm writing this down in this episode description.
All right.